And we have occipital nerve stimulation, that electrical stimulation of either the greater or lesser occipital nerve derived from nerve root C2 C3. Stimulation induced modulation of painful occipital neuralgia or may relieve the pain of migraine headache or the cervical pain. Stimulation, we are applying, implanting the device under the skin to control or stimulate the peripheral nerve branches to control the pain. In for the neuro, these are called TDCS, that is your transcranial direct current stimulation. These are the modality basically. When you see modality, जितने भी हमारे पास अवेलेबल हैं, जो बेसिक सिस्टम में होती है, तो modalities are available. टेंस हो गया तुम्हारा, IFT हुआ तुम्हारा, some kind of, there are some stimulator, there are some muscle stimulator, right? So we are using this to stimulate the brain, okay, to stimulate the spinal cord, okay, जो कि हम लोग नॉन इन्वेस्टिवली काम में ले रहे हैं. इसके अंदर आता है तुम्हारा TDCS, then transcranial magnetic stimulation, that is your TMS. We call it RTMS when we are using repetitively transcranial magnetic stimulation, right? Then transcranial alternating current stimulation, that is TACS. Then transcranial random noise stimulation, TRNS. Electroconvulsive therapy, then deep brain stimulation that we discussed earlier, vagus nerve stimulation, cranial electrotherapy stimulation modality, and the magnetic seizure therapy. So in these modalities, there are some invasive, there are some non-invasive. Non-invasive modalities we can use, and they are not that much costly. We cannot buy that, or we cannot like they are. They have very less side effect, right? If you talk about the TDCS or TMS, so they have very few contraindication and the side effect. These include the some kind of lightheadedness or the nausea, nothing else. Okay, and patient can use their self only, and you can apply easily with the help of electrode that you are using with the TENS or the IFT. So how the TDCS look like? If you see, there is a device on your screen. It's a short device you can wear on the head. Basically, you can wear on the head, or place the electrode in the headgear device. It is already electrode is placed inside in the external device. There is electrode you have to attach with your scalp for the with the band or with the help of the elastic bandage or it. So transcranial direct current stimulation is a contemporary portable non-invasive neuromodulated technique that delivers a low electric current to the scalp. A fixed current between 1 and the 2 milliampere is typically applied. This is your direct current. Okay. TDCS workflowization or the hyperpolarization of the neurons respectively. Okay, we are not going to talk about the how they work, right? How the physiology changes into the brain, or how the physiology changes into the body when we are applying. We are just going to the introductory part, or like you see, if you can take later on also, see how we can use these modality for our practice. The current delivered of the TDCS is not considered strong enough to trigger an action potential in the neuron. It is sub-threshold effect works by bringing the neurons closer to or further from the firing. The TDS augments the resting voltage of the neural membrane to prod a neuron's activity in a desired direction. In this way, TDCS may work by the strengthening or weakening synaptic transmission between neurons by augmenting synaptic plasticity, which is turned the cellular basis of the learning. TDCS is often combined with training. Training in itself processes learning, that is called your synaptic or the neuroplasticity, and concurrent TDCS amplify these effects to the regeneration of the new learning or the memory. The some area TDCS is currently being explored include depression, schizophrenia, aphasia. There are some paper research that already showed that they are working on that depression, schizophrenia, and aphasia. But we require some more further study and research in this field. Depression or schizophrenia, aphasia, addiction, epilepsy, chronic pain, and for the fibromyalgia and the motor rehabilitation, how we can utilize TDCS more effectively. So TDCS, how it look like, I showed you the picture earlier. It is a small battery operated device. These are usually control panel that allow to program a device. Basically, electrodes are placed on the head to help placed by the headgear. Usually an elastic strap you can use that we are using in the our general practice. A cable is connected each electrode to the stimulator. When the stimulator is turned on, the current flows from the device to the electrode and subsequently through the brain. Research and clinical grade stimulators have many features that help ensure stimulation is tolerable and reliable, like the TENS or the IFT. What we have? We have the intensity knob, we have the that we control, and we see how the patient can tolerate the pain, that intensity of the current. So we have in this also that according to the patient or according to the problem, we can control that the system ki how much current we want to give to the brain. So there are very less side effect of it. You can use when you use it, temporary skin redness, itching or the tingling, headache, nausea, dizziness. Phosphine, which is temporary non-dangerous flash of light that comes to the basically to the eyes, and some kind of skin burn if you are not using gel or any kind of conductive medium proper. So what is your transcranial magnetic stimulation? If you see on the screen, there are some magnetic coil kind of thing that plays over the head. So this is the modality that generates the magnetic field like the your short wave diathermy, okay, and it acts on the brain to stimulate the neural pathway and the neural activity. It applies magnetic pulse to the brain by a coil, and electric current is delivered to the coil, which acts as the magnetic field generator in the procedure. The generator magnetic field induces an electric current to the brain. Different coil types are used to elicit different, and using more like we use in the short wave. We are using the disc electrode, we are using a pad electrode, right? We are using a wire electrode. This how we are using the different kind of electrode or the coil to generate that pattern or to stimulate the deeper cortical layer that we require. The stimulation is typically applied at the sufficient intensity to trigger action potential in proximate neurons. For example, TMS over the motor cortex can result in the finger twist. When you are applying to the deep cortical layer with the help of different kind of coil, so you will see if you are stimulating the motor cortex, you will see the finger twitch or the leg movement, whatever which area of the motor cortex that's applying the area, and you are applying or you are stimulating that area, you will see the movement in that area. Applying several pulses of the TMS is in a row is called the repetitive magnetic stimulation. The timing of the pulses can determine how the brain changes in the response, and RTMS can sometimes disrupt how a brain region is working, leading in what is called functional lesion, right? When we are stimulating any kind of functional lesion, तो हमें क्या होगा वहाँ पे, suppose we are stimulating the motor cortex of the deep cortical layer, हम लोग motor cortex stimulate कर रहे हैं, और सपोज हमें फिंगर मूवमेंट जिस एरिया को स्टिमुलेट करते हैं वहां से फिंगर मूवमेंट हमें मिलता है, फिंगर ट्विच मिलता है, अगर वहां नहीं आ रहा है हमारा रिपीटेटिवली स्टिमुलेट करने के बाद भी, तो वी कैन से देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन दैट एरिया, and we use the different modality or the same modality that works for the regeneration for that purpose. This selective interference given credence in therapy aiming to modulate the relatively excitability of the brain region. Additionally, when combined with other neuroimaging techniques, TMS can be used to map behavior-related circuitry with spatial and the temporal precision to know the exact area of the lesion. RTMS can lead to lasting changes in the brain function, which is why it is used for the treatment. We call it long-term potentiation, and the long-term depression are the implicated cellular mechanisms behind the RTMS. Means when we are applying regularly or with the different doses, so there are permanent changes or the temporary changes in the brain that we'll see with the mapping. Also we can check with the other kind of neuroimaging technique, that is MRI or your CT scan with help of that. Some area TMS is currently being explored include stroke rehabilitation, Parkinson, depression, migraine, pain management and the auditory hallucination. They are working. तो हमारे जो न्यूरो रिहेबिलिटेशन के पर्पज के हैं, तो वी आर फाइंडिंग सम रिसर्च कि ये काम कर रहा है, कुछ है जिसमें वी आर सीइंग द रिजल्ट. Suppose if you are applying for the tremor, we are getting results. We are applying for the bradykinesia, we are not getting results, right? So some kind of research are going on, and see further research will be better to get the future we can get. What is the TMS device look like? I showed the picture earlier. A TMS stimulator is the size of mini fridge, has a power cable. It will have the various control on it to adjust the stimulation parameters such as the pulse intensity, number of pulses and the pulse frequency. The coil looks like one or more loops. For example, figure of 8 coil that I showed earlier. In that you have a cable connected the coil to the stimulator. The coil is held over the head, the part of the stimulator by the hand of the operator or by the mechanical arm. So what are the common side effects you will see with this modality? Headache, scalp discomfort at the site of the stimulation, tingling, spasm or twitching of the facial muscles, or the lightheadedness. If you see uncommon side effect जो कि कुछ लोगों में मिलते हैं कुछ में नहीं मिलेंगे तुम्हें, seizures, mania, particularly in the people with the bipolar disorders, hearing loss if there is inadequate or ear protection during the treatment. We have to protect the ear. If you see in the picture, I didn't put that. So we have to protect the ear while we are applying the treatment. We have to wear a glove kind of thing, or we can say cap kind of thing that is already provided by the manufacturer. So we have to wear that to protect the ear with the treatment. So if we are not wearing that, we can have the ear loss. There is something called transcranial alternating current, that's called TACS. If you see in this picture, we have the some kind of cap that we're wearing on the head. So we gave the current through all the area of the cap. We have the electrode inside the cap, and we have to wear it, and we provide the current through this. So TACS is similar to TDCS as a neuromodulatory technique, but instead of applying direct current, TACS oscillate is sinusoidal current, right? So we are using different current rather than direct current. We are using the current in this at a chosen frequency to electrode is placed over an area of interest which applies stimulation while a reference electrode is placed in the neutral region. When a signal can synchronize with the brain endogenous frequency, when several oscillations are pulsed, de-synchronization of the cortical oscillation can occur. So there is the changes in the problems whatever we are creating. As such, TACS effects are contingent on the frequency, amplitude, and phase of light. TACS is applied in the EEG frequency range 0.1 to 80 Hz can entrain the neural oscillation, augmenting them. In higher ranges, 1 to 5 kHz, oscillation interaction is unlikely to occur, but cortical activity has been suggested. The exact mechanism of the action are still unclear, but the effects are related to the manipulation of the brain oscillation, and thus information transfer and the corresponding biomechanical alteration in the brain occur, which may result some areas into the Parkinson's, schizophrenia, tumor retardation, and cognitive enhancement, tinnitus, and the motor performance. So, if the patient comes with tinnitus, we can use the TACS. There's something we call electroconvulsive therapy. That's not our used modality. हम लोग इसे काम में नहीं लेते हैं. Basically, stand of shock भी जैसा होता है और थोड़ा patients को क्या कहते हैं not thing that we apply basically. This is basically used in the hospital setup or the psychiatric illness जो psychiatric hospital या mental hospital होते हैं उन्हीं में काम में लेते हैं. हम लोग basic patients के लिए इसे काम में नहीं लेते हैं और न्यू rehabilitation के अंदर भी इसका रोल basically नहीं है. If you see severe mania, severe depression और resistant depression के अंदर इसको काम में ले रहे हैं. और the catatonia, that is the characterized by the lack of movement, fast or the strange movement, lack of speech or the symptom. Basically psychiatric disorder अंदर काम में लेते हैं. So this is not recommendable for us, but I included because of we are reading all the things. What are the modality? So I included and some medical complications that include the blood pressure increase and the heart rate increase, or some kind of serious heart problem may occur because of this also. We have deep brain stimulation that we discussed earlier. We have the implanted device inside the brain and we have the stimulator outside. We control through the stimulator के जरिए हम लोग अंदर की जो इलेक्ट्रोड है या स्टिमुलेटिंग डिवाइस है उसे हम लोग ऑपरेट करते हैं और हम लोग ब्रेन को स्टिमुलेट करते हैं टू रिलीज द न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर टू द ब्रेन. So there are some common side effects. It is the implanted device. When we are implanted device है, अगर किसी न्यूरोसर्जन ने अप्लाई किया है तो सर्जरी रिस्क हो सकते हैं. That is your misplacement of lead, bleeding into the brain, stroke, infection, breathing problems, nausea, and heart problems in the seizure. And the possible side effects of the stimulation that can be numbness or tingling sensation, muscle tightness of the face and arms, speech problems, balance problems, lightheadedness, vision problems such as double vision, unwanted mood changes such as anger and the depression. Okay, so mental health disorder जो सीवियर के लिए काम में लेते हैं और deep brain stimulation used by the neurosurgeons ये न्यूरोसर्जन काम में लेते हैं so that we cannot use definitely. And if you see the vagus nerve stimulator devices, That's also a surgical procedure. That is this is also a implanted device that we implant to the vagus nerve to basically like DBS, VNS is done by the surgical implanting a being explored, but is currently not approved for the clinical purpose in the US. India, I didn't found anywhere they are using either the Jaslok or the Nimans. They are not using this kind of stimulation. Okay, with the neurosurgeon. The vagus nerve is largely deep and difficult nerve to stimulate through the skin, but is postulated TVNS technique. It is sensory auricular branch may be exploited. So if we are stimulating from the outer side, so we can stimulate the sensory auricular branch through the transcutaneous venous nerve stimulator, जो कि available नहीं है because not approved by the FDA. So this is not available in the US also, but there are some research purpose they are using it in some area of the treatment. The mechanism behind the VNS alteration in the CNS are still unclear, but two hypotheses include: one is the norepinephrine modulation from the solitary tract nuclei projection to the locus coeruleus, that is control your movement and the pain. Elevated GABA levels and the receptor density as observed in patients who experience VNS is predominantly being explored in epilepsy and depression. Although research is now conducting, it is used in multiple sclerosis, pain, and the Alzheimer's disease. So more recently, VNS has been explored as an electrical means to reduce inflammation and shows promises in the rheumatoid arthritis and other inflammatory disease. They are using to reduce the inflammation and the pain, but the area is not clear. They are conducting the research, and they are we have to uh, uh, further proceed the clinical trials or the clinical research to know about the fact. So surgical risk, if you are implanting the device inside, then we have to see pain, where the cut of the incision, infection, difficulty in swelling, vocal cord paralysis, or it can be temporary or permanent. Surgical risk can be voice changes, hoarseness, throat pain, cough, headache, shortness of breath, difficulty swallowing, tickling, prickling of the skin, insomnia, and the worsening of the sleep or the apnea. Okay, so here is the things. After the TDCS, we can use TACS, we can use TMS, we can use for our problems for the rehabilitation, for the new rehabilitation, and this is called cranial electrotherapy stimulation device. That is the most widely used and FDA cleared device the patient can use and we can use in our clinical setup. So CS is the class of basically cranial electrotherapy stimulation is the class of non-invasive transcranial pulse current stimulation that applied a particular amplitude, frequency, and a waveform of the patient to the patient. CS devices have two parts: a box to control the settings and a set of the electrodes. Electrode placement is variable, but certain electrode arrangements have been decided by the FDA cleared device, which can be viewed on the FDA website, right? The amplitude and frequency are also variable, with the most cranial electrical stimulation devices allowing up to 5 milliampere to 0.5 to 500 Hz respectively. Waveform can be square or the sinusoidal. There are still debate on the efficacy of CSS on its intended treatment targets and into the anxiety, depression, and the insomnia. Although CS has been shown an effect of neurotransmitter and neurohormones concentrations while changing oscillatory band power into the EEG recording. So EEG recording की गई. So when we applied the CS to the brain and EEG recording के अंदर we saw कि there are the बहुत ज़्यादा oscillation जो था EEG reading के अंदर था. The Mental Health America MHA suggests clinical examination of CS in the ADHD, anxiety, depression, addiction, pain, and insomnia. Additionally, CS has not shown many side effects into the literature. We have zero side effects. The patient is using with the earlobe, electrode applying to the earlobe or the forehead or the scalp. We can use either anyway. And the CES is the FDA cleared for the treatment of depression, anxiety, and insomnia. And TDCS and CS are similar in that their safety is supported by medical literature. Both CS and TDS studies have reported short-term side effects limited to mild and reversible skin irritation while using standard protocols and the guidelines. So if we talk about तो the modality जो those who work सबसे ज़्यादा जो modality काम करती है वो modality है तुम्हारी TDCS and TMS, TACS and the CES, right? So but it looks like TDCS and the CS are same. Okay, so we have some things differentiation हमारे पास जो है मैंने picture add किया है. If you see So in TDCS, we are placing the electrode on the hair line or the constant waveform we are using. In CES, we are using electrode on the forehead or the earlobe. We are applying to the earlobes or the ear, and we are using the frontal, है ना? Frontal area पे हम लोग apply कर रहे हैं, है ना? And we have the pulse waveform only. We are not using the constant waveform. We are using the pulse waveform for that. Pulse waveform of the electrical current. So no, these are the two completely different type of treatment as well. Transcranial magnetic stimulation devices utilize magnetic field managed by the dedicated specialist and the high-end equipment utilizing a unique coil-based system placed over the patient's head. These magnetic field stimulate nerve cells within the brain in specific target areas, making it is more particular technology to work with. We have to study more and we have to learn how to apply that. And CES works by the administrating safe and non-invasive energy-based stimulation via the aforementioned electrode. Additionally, CS devices are much smaller and more portable compared to TS device. It is the pocket side. Pocket side टेंस जो आता है वैसा आता है और इसके इलेक्ट्रोड लाइक क्लिप के जैसे होते हैं. क्लिप का मतलब है जैसे हम लोग क्लोथ के लिए काम में लेते हैं क्लिप, तो वी कैन अप्लाई दैट टू आवर ईयर लोब और टू द ईयर्स and you can start the machine like 10 and the current will start to the to stimulate the brain or the our activity for the any kind of problem that we discussed earlier, anxiety, depression or the insomnia and all. So which are typically quite costly, cumbersome and the more complex to operate. Hence the need of the delegated practice of operating will require some guidelines जो कि FDA ने दी हुई है और जो कंपनी मैन्युफैक्चरर जो बना रहे हैं उनके यहाँ अवेलेबल फ्रॉम $2,000 to $1,000, यानी कि लो वैरायटी टू हाई वैरायटी हाई कॉस्ट इज आल्सो अवेलेबल. तो उसकी सबकी गाइडलाइन अलग-अलग है. We have to see what type of instrument we are using to the patient or we are prescribing to the patient. So if you see, we can use this kind of modality in our neuro rehabilitation for the chronic pain, movement disorders, epilepsy, psychiatric disorder, that's a mental health problems, basically stroke, brain injury, cardiovascular disorders, gastrointestinal disorder, genitourinary and the colorectal disorders, sensory deficit, Parkinson, obesity, peripheral vascular disease, hypertension, depression, spasticity, polyflow disorder, and the cancer pain, right? So if you see the future of the smart modulation or the neuromodulation, these are devices are growing better. They are working on the devices that look like a phone, or we can operate the devices, or we can operate the electrode or the thing through our phone only. Okay, so they are working on artificial intelligence and they are working on the brain-computer interference. When you are applying the wireless electrode to the brain or the scalp or the head or the to the earlobe, you can control with your smartphone, or there are some kind of current they can you can operate that your जो device है उसे तुम phone से connect कर लो और उसी से कभी भी जो है with the wireless either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth you can use that, right? The future of neuromodulation fundamentally depend on two pillars, that is brain-computer interference and the artificial intelligence. And a team of scientists in the South Korea and the United States have invented a device that can be controlled neural circuit by using the tiny brain implant managed by the smartphone. उन्होंने क्या किया, एक इम्प्लांट बेसिकली अप्लाई किया ब्रेन के अंदर इन पार्किंसन पेशेंट और उसे क्या किया, स्मार्टफोन से कंट्रोल किया या ब्रेन को स्टिमुलेट किया या ब्रेन की न्यूरल पाथवे को स्टिमुलेट किया थ्रू द स्मार्टफोन ओनली. They manipulated the brain cells using a smartphone. As with the most medical technologies, neuromodulation devices have progressed, becoming smaller, more easily implanted and removed, and more highly targeted. But what we have to see non-implanted device, that those are the TDCS, those are the TMS, transmagnetic stimulation, transcranial direct stimulation, then the cranial electrical stimulation, and we are using that our RTMS or the TSS. Okay, so what is the take-home message? Rather than the exercise therapy, we can use the electrotherapy also, and there are some devices available to treat the condition or the disease. Those are non-treatable, and for the patient going to the different doctors, these are the basically psychiatrists, and they are giving lot of antidepressant pill or the lot of medicine. You can treat them patient easily with the help of these modality or these neuromodulation. Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your so elaborated session on the great topic neuromodulation. It's actually, if we go into the neuromodulation, it can be a book on the neuromodulation and various other techniques you have covered in so little time. So it is a actually it is a skill that it is a skill of a great teacher that it can compile within a time frame and everything I was saying, everything has been covered. Everything we have covered about the neuromodulation and all about the neuromodulation. So I think it would be, there are a few senior faculty members also present here. They might be aware of this, but the one who is fresher and the students who are present here, and the physios who are not so much working in the neuro rehabilitation, or maybe not aware about the advancement of the neuro rehabilitation. So it would be a eye-opening session for them, that there are so much things which can do. And since we are working in the neuro rehabilitation while using the electrotherapy, and now we can directly apply the electrotherapy to the brain, definitely it would have some beneficial effect, even more beneficial effect than working on the periphery. So thank you, sir. It was a outstanding session and mind-blowing session, really. And
Okay, thank you so much, Himanshu. Thank you so much, Rajdeep sir, to give us a platform to spread the knowledge and chance to tell the things to people. Okay, thank you so much.
it was a wonderful session. If there's anybody any query, then I think they can ask. Neither, I think it was
If
a
you have
wonderful
any
session.
question,
We
you
were
can ask.
listening carefully. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please. So thank you, sir. It was a superb session, and we are getting the great comments. So it shows, yes, we were listening. I was also listening carefully. So I was praying that it should not be disconnected, because I want to learn more things. So it was a wonderful session, and we are really grateful to you, sir, that you have spared the time to share the precious knowledge, and especially the topic which is usually sometimes in our syllabus also, but maybe either read or may not be read during the curriculum of the physiotherapy, recent advances. So it is the biggest area of the recent advances, neurorehabilitation and the neuromodulation. So we are also pleased to share that we also have the great senior faculty members who are present over here, and it is just because of their continuous support and blessing that we are trying to do something for the profession. So we are grateful to the Jitendra sir from Delhi, North DMC Medical College, Kalpana Jutsi ma'am from Jamia Hamdard, Harsh Rajdeep sir, my own teacher, mentor and guide, Amita Sharma ma'am from Saudi Arabia, Jakpreet Singh sir, our resource person, previous resource person, Jakpreet sir, HOD from Mansaro Global University, and we also had joined with the Tarun Amalnerkar sir from the Malaysia, but due to some reason they are not, I think, connected right now, and Pushpendra Divanshi sir. So we are really grateful to you all that you are sparing the time to be with us, and we are really thankful to you. And at last, there is information that tomorrow again we have a great session on the role of kinetic chain and biomechanics in the functional training. And this session would be taken over by our resource person, Dr. Y. Ramakrishnan. So stay in touch, stay tuned. We'll meet tomorrow again at 9 p.m. So thank you all.
Okay, thank you so much
Patient listening.
to everyone, every faculty, Rajdeep sir especially, Himanshu, for all the effort, and all the listeners. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Grateful to you, sir. Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Stay safe.